it's Dani, and welcome back. I know, it's been a hot minute, but the call and collection, man, we spent hours together. I figured y'all were tired of seeing me for a little while. That's a lie. I got busy, and it's been wild. It's been like, I've been muggling. So, anyway, we're back. We're here. So, I completed my grimoire yesterday, and I thought it would be the perfect time to end this year with a couple of wrap-up things. And you guys may recognize this bad boy. This is my old one. Definitely one that I realized that a little too large for me size-wise. Mostly because it also has like these like really wide pages. It just wasn't exactly what I wanted, but I did finish it all out. I'll walk you through this one as well. We'll have another glance at it, but I will link when I talked about this, because this is what I'm saying. I got so many questions about like getting an update and stuff like that, and I wanted to finish this other grimoire, so I had some fresh ideas to show you because I knew I didn't have much left of this one. So I'll leave a link to the video where I kind of talk about this and my process and how, you know, we make it whatever we want, even when it's ugly and even when it's not what is aesthetically pleasing. This is our stuff. This is our magic. This is our thought process and practice, you know? It's practice. So I will leave that linked either down below or up here or both if I can remember, because I never remember to link shit. I just don't. So if I don't, please remind me. Anyway, so we are going to have a quick little flip through of this one. I'm going to turn my camera down to my desktop so we can actually look through these. But we'll do a flip through of this one. And then we have my, well, let's see. I began this in June of 2021. So about 2.5 years worth of work has gone into this bad boy. She thick. This is her spine. You can see how she's well out of the corners. There are 3 signatures maxed out. Maxed out. I love this book. It was exactly what I wanted and needed. And so now I know, as much as I love these pretty books and all the leather covers and glorious fresh pages, it's what I like to see, but it's not what I need. What I need is a mess so that I can continue to make a mess. And that's what we're going to go through today, and I will allow you to see my mess. I don't know if you can see, but there are going to be a few things covered. You'll see why. But not much. If you can read my hand scratch, go for it. It's whatever. I'm not going to blur out and be kind of weird about it. I just feel like people need to see that you can just go at it and make messes and create something magical for yourself and for anyone else who has the privilege or pleasure to get their hands on these one day. So, are we ready? I'm so excited. Okay, let's dive into the grimoires. Okay, so there's nothing pretty on the table right now because she's big. So this is as far up as I can get, but you will be able to see the whole thing. So this is my first one that I showed. So like I said, I'm going to kind of do a quick flip through of this one so we can get on to our big bad Mama Gemma. So if you've seen the first video, you'll know all about this. And the opening, some stuff about Louisiana. And then I go into, I like to put just kind of everything. Things that I'm thinking about, things that I'm doing, little doodles and sketches. And I used to put spreads in here a lot, or at least ones that, hang little charms, at least ones that I've done. So like I'll put it in there and write about it. But I did start to kind of move away from that and just put my actual spreads in my spread box. But I'll still write about, and you'll see, I'll still write about spreads that I've done. I just don't keep my spreads in there anymore, because I'm always trying to find them. So I like to put a lot of art, pictures, and just like write about dreams and interpretations and all kinds of stuff. Oh my god, I have to talk about this for a second. So you can see I wrote nostalgia. This I drew because I remembered it from childhood, and every time I would pass, it was always there, where me and my grandpa used to drive through, in the little town that we lived in. And y'all, after, I swear, almost 40 years, they moved that thing. And when I opened this and saw it, I was so glad that I had sketched it, because it is, for the first time in my life, no longer there. So that was fun. And then of course, I make messes. It's for fun. It's messy, and it gets out emotion and just all the things. We got the Wheel of the Years, candle stuff, moon cycle stuff. This one has a lot of my basics in it. This was, I swear, the star of the show. When I showed you guys this last time, this quote itself, and for very good reason, because it's one of my favorite quotes, and I'll never forget it, because I didn't like the book, but this quote made it all worthwhile. It was Marrying Mozart by Stephanie Cowell. Anyway, it was amazing, and it just gave me a lot to think about. I love to do these little wild doodles. Those are fun. As you can see, I have like some of my old spreads in there. My new moon spreads, some energy spells and sigils. So these pages, you can see, they came out. But one of my friends threw a Harry Potter themed party for her son this year, and I was so jazzed, but I wasn't able to go. So I didn't get to be the divination teacher, so I had to send some help. So I took my rune alphabet out, and I let her borrow some runes as well as some cards and stuff, and they had a great time. I really wish I would have been there, though. I was kind of bummed that I had to miss that. A lot of writing now. I did a lot more, I feel like a lot more writing in my other one, because I was more comfortable with the paper than I was with this one. I don't know why the paper just deterred me, but I think it was because of the wide lines and stuff like that. That just really, I don't know, it just wasn't it for me. It just wasn't it. I have a lot of stuff that's kind of crammed into this one. The other one too, I like to do that. I'll just cram stuff with no particular place. I have things that are glued down and pop out and things like that. Dream stuff. If I have like a very specific dream, I usually like to jot down or sketch out. So I do that quite a bit, especially in this one. I did some little art pages and things like that. This came unglued, but that's supposed to be there. Stitched in these pages here, because a lot of times I'll just take notes and then I'm like, I'm gonna make it look good and put it in there, and I don't. So then I'll just put those notes wherever they're supposed to be. You know what I mean? More spreads. Think about Beepalm. I finished out just a whole mandala. Very meditative work. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Then some just like open drawings. Oil blends. A little auto drawing and kind of playing, creative practice stuff. Oh, this was fun. Me and Lennon took my book and we went and did the frottage, I think it's called, all around our property. And we did a couple of things. We never finished out the rest of it. We must have got distracted, but I did grab this here and paste that into there. Sometimes when you mess up, you just own it. And that's what I did right here. I spent all kinds of time making this really beautiful. And then I went to put Mod Podge over it. And it smeared everything. And I was really upset. And then I was like, but now I learned. And so I put it in here. I said, you know what? Mess ups are important. This is what it is to try and be fearless. Because I did it. It didn't work out. That's okay. So did a lot of that. Again, stuff that I've written down. You can see oils stained. These are all glued in there. Goodie bags and some fire cider. My poor handwriting is crazy. Have some different types of sigil making. Healing spell chant. Oh, this one I wrote and went all the way around. Pin enchantment. And then I ended with a really huge door. Closing one door, opening another one. And so that was my first one. This little beauty. This is where I started to morph this more into my style and allowed my kind of freedom of creativity sometimes and very plain and simple other times. I just kind of did what felt right, and I put a lot of time and energy, obviously 2.5 years, into creating this book, not only for myself, but hopefully for maybe my daughter and people down the line who can read about the things that I've done and studied and went through, and dreams that I had and interpretations, just like all the stuff, as well as my middle signature is dedicated to Louisiana and my family and, you know, my roots and stuff. So here we go. I didn't name these two, and I kind of regret it because I always call this book especially my she, because she's been with me, and like every time I look at her little owl, I just like, it feels like her. But I don't have a name for her, but I'm thinking that maybe my next one that I make, I might actually create a name for her. Who knows? But anyway, without further ado, welcome to my journal. So I did hand make this, hand-dyed pages. Everyone was picked out. I did the thing, and I regret nothing because it was such a joy to work through. So if you have scrap paper, shoot, if you can tear things out and put them together in a binder, just anything you have around you to create your own, 10 out of 10 would recommend, okay? Or find something that speaks to you in this way where you feel free to just go ham, right? You just gotta feel free to do that. So this is my first page. It has a sigil here and just kind of an opening, right? So right off the bat, I have a spell, like kind of like I call it like a little spell space, where with this one, you can see like I openly accept the gratitude of others. I've always had trouble, I guess, like accepting good feedback. It's difficult. So I would put any kind of cards, even if it just said thank you. Anything that I would find, I would stick that in there and just like keep it growing. I have little things from linen that she would make or write to me. I like to put those kind of things in there. As you can see, this is kind of how I started doing my spread work, where I would just kind of take a little snapshot. So sometimes I would do that, but like I wouldn't keep this in here. So it wasn't as a space keeper, but more about what I was looking through. this is going to take so long if I do this to everything. So I'm going to kind of flip through some. Talk about places that I went, past life stuff. I do a lot of poetry that I find. Again, rituals, spells. Now, I did do a deep dive into Mary symbolism as the mother goddess and a whole bunch of stuff as far as that goes. So I just kind of went ham there. Stuff about art. Andy Warhol quote here, talking about arts. Went into some Baba Yaga. And I love to put things like this in here where I can stick pictures and cards and like little pressings. This is like pressed between some tape, I think. Just some flowers that I found in our yard. And so I just literally taped them down and shoved it in there. Little Baba Yaga spread. More little poetry and quotes. Past life spell. In here, I think I have a quote here and some kind of musings about that I just kind of keep tucked. Mela. Okay, there we go. I just have random little cards kind of shoved in. Frogs and toads. Got all kinds of stuff here. Little doodles. My ghost gang. Oh my gosh, I did have a lot of fun just like finding random pictures in this one and just kind of pasting them around. Anything that I thought was cool. Another place for like doodle, I call it my art trash. So if I would doodle somewhere, I just like tear it up and put it in here when I remembered. I like to make little, this is here, little pockets, lots of quotes, spread sketches and things here. Looks like from Samhain. Oh, these were really cool. I never got a chance. What I was supposed to do was take these. I printed them out and like burned all the edges. And I printed out the cards that I pulled for each. And I was going to kind of write about it. But I never got to the writing part. But I do have the cards attached to them. So I'm not mad about it though, because I think it'll be interesting to kind of go back and lay those cards back out and kind of see what it means to me at the moment. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't write it out. But anyway, you know, some things don't always work out. They don't always work out. Okay, so you see I have some hidden stuff here. This is, look, there's the intimate card, if you can figure out what this might be in regards to. Okay, let's move on. And so we're into another great little poem about the Fae, and I was writing a little bit about Fae energy here. More cards. Do a lot of journaling, as you can tell in this one. This one is very heavily journaled. Honeysuckle, Vestia, did a study on her, and my witch ball. I talk about one there, and then I also made one to ward off nightmares, and that one seems to work really well for Lennon, and she still has that in her room, so I made sure to stick it there. I like to put just all my stickers and stuff, or like, so I made this, someone sent this to me, made this for me, so beautiful. So I'll like stick little postcards in here, things that I make, stickers, some rune layouts. I don't know why I'm holding that up. Probably because it's so thick. I was just trying to keep it level. This is where I cast my charms a lot of the times. I have more charms than I have here now, but I never added to it. I didn't really feel like I needed to at the point. But this is where a lot of times if I want a board for it, I will cast my charms here. That way I always have a space. Again, stickers and things that I make just kind of jammed all in here. A lot of, like, I have some little spreads in here, some specific spreads, extra cards. When I was asked to be the godmother to My little nephew. I was so excited. My baby. Anyway, so at this point, we enter into my Cajun space, right? Something again from linen. I have some cards in here that kind of remind me of that because I did tear apart. I let go of the fact that I wasn't going to use the archetype deck in the way that it was meant to. So I just started doing stuff with the cards that I wanted to do. You can tell there's quite a few that are going to be shoved in here. I've given some away. I've added to them. I've done all kind of stuff, so you'll see those throughout as well. But in here, I talk a lot about, like I said, Cajun folklore and traiteurs and native plants and spell work that's kind of with the things that are local to me, that I've done. The chardron right here, Le Fleur de Sirop. This is the elderberry. This is like a thistle that we have. Mosquito hawk, which is what we always called dragonflies. I did make a pendulum board in here in the shape of like a Ouija board, which is really fun. And I actually took tape and taped it all. Like I did it old school, like what I would have done in high school, where I didn't have Mod Podge or anything. And like, if I wanted something to stay, I would like make a collage and then take clear packing tape and just go over the entire thing that I was doing. And so I went old school. I cut out each letter, each number, and I went ahead and I just taped that bad boy down. So now if I'm doing something with like wax or anything, if I have candles or anything and it gets on there, look, wipe that off. We have a nice page that won't get wet. Again, heavily journaled, especially this part. These are from my garden. I got a flower press for Christmas, and that was last Christmas, or yeah, it was a while. Anyway, I pressed stuff from my yard, and then I put that in there. So those are from our gardens in the yard. So these are some notable saints. I do also have that in there. I did bring in some Catholicism in this section because of the Cajun heritage. Does tie in with Catholicism in many ways. And so I went ahead and put some notable saints and what they, what you kind of call on them for. I like the idea of kind of bringing in some of these different rituals and almost like deity figures in these saints that kind of hold certain energies for us. It was a whole thing that I dove into. So I have a lot about that, and that kind of goes through here. Rewriting some stuff to kind of make it make sense in my mind. It was really cool. It was really fun. I talk a lot about family traditions. Again, here's some more of the cards, things that remind me of my ancestors, midwife, wanderer, and survivor. So I have those kind of tucked in here. Oh, this didn't come out as good as I wanted it to. So I did draw. I sketched this hourglass because I had an idea to make it look like the moss was the sand going down. And I guess sort of, but it got a little unruly on the side. Look, I tried. It's fine. It's fine. It was fun. My point was still there. It's still here, and I'm okay with that. Herbs and crystals for ancestry work. Love that. This was just, I don't know. I just wanted some texture on the page. So I did that. I threw a few of these little things in here randomly when I made the journal. So whenever I got to it, I just kind of wrote about it. So this, again, the Catholicism aspect, I do have a rosary explanation here, along with just a knotted kind of representation where if you wanted to, you could do the whole thing just on this little knotted basic thing that I have. But I also am learning all of my prayers in Cajun French. I'm doing some studying with a traiteur, and he is teaching me. And so I am learning all of my prayers, which are at the core of the tradition. And so I have all of those kind of set in here, all in Cajun French. So I have all this here. I have them written like 300 times. That's what helps me learn them, because like I'll continuously write them. So anyway, a Cajun toast, a little poem. I painted the Acadian flag. So this is the flag of the Acadians down here in Louisiana. We have the live oak, some oak stuff. Just an old house that reminded me a lot of the places where I grew up. This is my take at Spanish moss. You like that? So I had some yarn that I untwisted because I was like, it kind of looks like hair. And the legend of the Spanish moss is that it is hair. But I thought that kind of looked like it, so I pasted that on there. But this kind of talks about the Spanish moss here in Louisiana. Some of my British and Scottish ancestry. I kind of did a little kind of thing with that. Make some granny vibes, things that remind me of my granny. A lot of people do the wishbone. And I found this picture and I was like, it just brought back so many memories. We did this all the time. Anytime my granny and them had a whole farm, so they would have like whole chickens or whole ducks or whole, like fresh meat. And so we used to have whole chickens so much more. Now everything is like chicken breast, chicken thighs, whatever. But we had whole chickens all the time. And so we got to do this wishbone, and it just kind of brought back a lot of memories because we just don't do that anymore. A little bit about Cajun French and why it's so hard. And it's been so hard to kind of translate and stuff because the Cajun French was almost completely oral. And most of the people in our area, including like my grandfather and a lot of people, it stuck around for a really long time. They did not know how to read or write, especially in their own language. And they didn't teach it in schools. So, yeah, that's why it's kind of difficult for some of the words in Cajun French. But we do have a lot of dictionaries now that are trying to preserve those things. I talked a little bit about coffee because that was a really, 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 really big thing in my family. Some old cypress trees, just some stuff that I was thinking about and studying. I did a lot of ancestor research this year. These are actually pictures of some of the Cajuns, and it's a real interesting thing. It wasn't until I started digging into this really hard recently that I realized the idea of the decades that I've always had were very Americanized. Those decades didn't look like that for Cajun people. This is how my granny grew up. My granny grew up like this. Not, I don't know, in these nice neighborhoods in the, 30s, everything looking so great, this is what it was. And I don't know, it was very interesting to dive into something that really started opening my eyes. It's I know that what I saw growing up, because even what I saw and I experienced, I know I'm totally going into a tangent right now, but I'm sorry, this is what I've done for years. At this point, it's been about probably as long as I started this journal, obviously. where I really started to deep dive and really started to understand what's being lost. And it's like, even what I saw as a child, my child will never see. And so I'm doing my best to find what I can find and, I don't know, just do my part and try to understand that the things that I feel and the things that I've seen in my society, the reason that they don't match with so much that I see around the world and with different people. And it's like, I don't know, it just really, it was a lot. It was a lot, y'all. Anyway, so I also talked right here about doing some kind of path working, because I considered, you know, a lot of my family, they've been here since I know for sure the 1700s. Maybe a little bit before that, because that's only one side of the family that I know of. So I know for sure that a lot of them came back then or were forced to come, depending upon, you know, family history is wherever that goes. But anyway, and like I really thought about like what would I bring? I mean, you're being uprooted. Are you packing and able to like pack your things and go? Or are you being rushed? Or are you going with nothing but the clothes on your back and just like kind of doing path working, like what that must have felt like and what that was like for them, especially back then where they didn't know. I mean, really, you know, it's only recently that our society is so global, you know, like globally connected in an instant. Right? It doesn't take weeks to find things out. And so, I don't know, I just like thinking about those kind of things and doing some path working and some ancestral work there. So interesting. I also got a lot of my DNA stuff back, and I've been able to trace some stuff, especially trying to trace this mysticism, which again, we can only go back so far when you don't have those people, but I'm trying, right? Some people living by the bayou on the boat. Little houseboats are the ones that come right off the water. Oh, this is my family. This is my dad's family. All of them. I had to paste a picture of my aunt because she's the only one that wasn't born yet. This was my dad. But this is my granny and pop. And then this is my mama and papa, my mom's side of the family. My mom is adopted, but her biological mom is my grandmother's sister. So, but that's still, that's my mama and papa. Ain't nobody else around. So yeah, I kind of wrote about that and finished this part off with the meter from New Orleans. Got some stuff in here creating sigils, stuff about Hecate, and some drawings from linen. Just kind of shove whatever in here. Jars, spells, maps and worlds. I did some banishing powder and things like that. Again, I have just some random cards kind of stuck in. Speaking of Yuletide, and just some postcards from one of the artists that I really love. Jars and oils. Try to say that together. You can see this one. I put quotes on here. Talking about creativity because that is a huge part of my craft, obviously. My hands like to do. And so this makes me think about, you know, this is about intention, and I put this in there specifically for that. It's like sometimes just the act of pasting something that I found on this piece of paper just made me interact with this. It's like a special kind of magic. It's like I stopped time to do this, right? And that means a lot to me when it comes to the creation of stuff like this. And that's why I'm like, dude, I mean, it's just my hen scratch everywhere, you know? Sometimes I got a wild hair and I drew some squiggly lines. Like, you know, it can be as much or as little as you want. Just like interacting with your grimoire, I feel like is just, I don't know, it makes it so special. It doesn't have to look beautiful. Just showing up, gluing something on a piece of paper. Boom. I showed up just because I found something I really liked, you know? And I'm big on quotes. If you can't tell, they're everywhere in here. I always have been. You can go into some of my notebooks from when I was a teenager, and there are just quotes and song lyrics all over the place. And so I just kind of let myself go back to that. Like, what would, 15-year-old Dani do to this book? And that's what I did. This is what 15-year-old Dani would have made. And so here I am. I just really kind of let go and didn't feel like I had to put something important on every page. Sometimes it was just like what my mind gathered on that day, right? I just was in a dark tone. So I found things that kind of mimicked what I was feeling, and then I just created something there. That's enough for me. Like, I don't know, I just kind of let myself go and allowed myself to just do whatever felt right. In this one especially, more so than the other one, I just felt so restrained for some reason. But this one, it was like the pages were, I didn't cut these pages even. You know what I mean? They were already messed up. It didn't matter. It really didn't matter. I just kind of did whatever. And I think that's why I fell in love with this journal so much. Because it really played a huge part in the past few years of my life, just kind of filling this and not filling it, and taking 12 pages one day and waiting until I found some more inspiration. So everything is kind of in it where I felt it needed to go. Sometimes I went in order and sometimes I didn't. The only thing that I kept kind of quarantined, I guess you would say, was just that middle section that I kept for, my heritage. Everything else was just kind of a free-for-all. Just, again, sometimes I saw this picture and it reminded me of a dream I used to have when I was little, and how I've always, since then, have this, weird thing with water where, I'm incredibly fascinated with it. But at the same time, I'm utterly terrified of it. And it's it's the craziest thing. It's not even, the clear water. You're oh, will you grow up in muddy water? No, I will take that muddy water any time of day because I'm usually in a place where I can see the other side. Open water. Scary. Anyway, so sometimes just things that spark memories, I'll just literally throw it in there and write on it or write about it. Again, fun quotes. A little bit about the mandrake, and then Hermione's quote from the movie. I love doing stuff like that. Love it. For a little bit about kind of domestic witchery. I talked here a little bit about Poe, and I have Annabelle Lee, which was this was my gateway drug. Annabelle Lee was my gateway drug. I read it when I was very young, and oh my God, it tore my heart to pieces and just created this love of that kind of gothic imagery that I never have ever shaken. So I feel like Poe deserves a place in every witch's journal. This actually, oh yeah, I have a bad word right there, but I tried to do the neon lettering. And so I thought that was really cool. It just felt awesome. You could see the skull face if it didn't have a potty word on it. But it's like a skeleton like smoking a cigarette. Anyway. Again, this is what 15-year-old Dani wanted in here. The rest of a poem. Oh, this is a beautiful thing about July, which is the month that I was born. Tried to make it look like it was incorporated into this dyed paper that's just torn to bits. This is all about July. Some superstitions. I found this really cool article that had knocking on wood, garlic to ward off evil, and it kind of said like what the superstition was, and then the actual like arcane truth. It was really cool. So I kind of collected it and put it in little columns so I could print it out and put it in here because I just thought it was so well done. So it talks black cats covering mirrors, tossing salt, the number 13, which I don't agree with, and you'll see that later. I have my number 13 back here. Anyway, the 4-leaf clover, throwing coins into a river or a fountain, and wishing on dandelions. I have my little poem about the fairy rings that I found, and then I stamped some and had to come in and redraw some of my stamps. They didn't stamp so well. Probably because I was at the end of this book, and this poor thing I just couldn't get enough leverage, so I just drew them in. I too am strange and unusual. Oh my god, this is one of my favorite quotes. I hope to arrive to my death late in love and a little drunk, but I fixed it. Another great quote by Hemingway, we are all broken, that's how the light gets in. This is a really cool picture that I found in a book that I got. I go to my local library and they always have like a bookshelf right when you walk in where you can buy books from the Friends of the Library. And they're like $1, sometimes 50 cents. And I find all the books that have like the really beautiful pieces of art in them, and I buy them all when I find them. I have one on music, one on medicine, medieval Christmas. Like I have a few of them because I get them for like $1. Like I can't help myself. But this is a really cool picture, and I just kind of tore it up and pasted it in there. This little diagram of a bat. Playing with stickers. Little quotes again that I find. Pulled a card here, so I just kind of wrote a little bit about it. And my little eyelashes move. I do fun things now. These I think are just like they've been squashed in the book now. They don't move as much in the bottom, but my top ones still move. Gotta have some fun with it. See, this is another one of those little things. This one I didn't even put anything on. I just kind of kept it where it was. Some little pockets with like quotes and weird things on them that I find. Spell bags. I have little tea. Oh, there's the number 13. My thoughts about 13. Oh, I did a witchy playlist of like a bunch of songs that I put on a playlist that gave me like kind of like a witchy vibe. So I wrote a few of them down. This is like only 20 of them. It's since grown, but music is my thing. Matter of fact, especially when I'm doing my journal or any kind of like art journaling in general, gotta have my music on. And so I thought I would add in a witchy playlist so I can remember what I was listening to. And this is just some lyrics from a song. You can see poking through the back a sigil, and this is what I finished out my sigil with the goals for 2024, and onward we go. And that's it. There she is. Grimoire Update. That took a while. Sorry, guys. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this glimpse into my magical witchy notebook practice. And I hope that maybe I've given you some inspiration to do your own. And if you do, please, 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 please tag me anywhere on social media, or drop your video in the comments. I think you can do that on this channel. If not, just say, hey, I did a video showing mine. That way I can go check it out. I love seeing what everybody does, and just like getting so much inspiration from everyone. And so I hope that I've offered a little bit to you guys. So I hope that I see you soon. This year is coming to an end, so I think we are going to talk the last 6 months of books. I might finish 1 or 2 before the year ends. I was kind of waiting on that, but we'll see. And then we'll talk the rest of the books and get into 2024. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday season. Everyone was safe and happy, and we will see you all very soon. I'm sending you all my love. Mwah. Later, Gators.